Good afternoon, traders. Happy Tuesday. Happy 1 week until election day. Let me know in the chat, have you already voted? You don't have to say who you voted for if you don't want to, but I want to know, have you voted yet? I was at the gym just a little bit ago and there was a guy wearing a Make America Great Again hat, and I was like, let's do this. Boy, every night before I go to bed, I say a prayer for Donald Trump to win the election this year, and boy, I hope it comes true. I don't want to see any shenanigans like we saw last time. Call me an election denier. I'll live up to it. Dave, good to see you. Wes, good afternoon to everyone. Very cool. Michael's here. Jean-Louis here. Hey, Randy, good to see you. Michael, vote yes. What's going to happen? Me. Dude, exactly. Brian said, yes, at a real life Black for Trump stop by on Sunday. Well, that's cool. That's cool. Hey, Michael. Mikey Mike Wolf. Good to see you. First time I've seen you here. Glad you're here, my friend. All right, let's jump into this video. I haven't seen it yet, but the title was called, Brian says it was. The title is called Kamala Makes Campaign Ending Mistake, Rocks 2024 Election. We'll see, we'll see, we'll see. Bob says, howdy, today is another day. Kamala translates to horrible in Finnish language. Is that true? I don't know if that's true, but it's pretty funny. All right, let's see what she has to say here.
About this yesterday, he said that Xi Jinping would bully you. He would treat you like a baby. In his words, he said it would be like a grand chess master playing a beginner. We would lose our country or be in World War III.
Again, let's look at what Donald Trump did.
Is it just me, or does she not actually have anything to say? Over the last several interviews I've watched, because I'm like so neck deep in this right now. Over the last several interviews I've watched, the only thing she can say is Donald Trump bad. Donald Trump bad. Donald Trump bad. Case in point. All right, let's continue on here.
In fact, JD Vance will be doing it this Wednesday, and we have new polling that continues to
Michael, thank you. I was going crazy.
Show that Kamala Harris is not trending in the right direction. So let's start with what Joe Rogan had to say. All right, so this was yesterday. He put, also for the record, because the Harris campaign has not passed on doing the podcast. They offered a date for Tuesday, but I would have had to travel to her, and they only wanted to do an hour. I strongly feel the best way to do it is in the studio in Austin. My sincere wish is to just have a nice conversation and get to know her as a human being. I really hope we can make it happen. Now, clearly, he is being very...
They want him in their studio, basically, so they can control the narrative, right? They know she's going to flander. That's a new word of the day. She is going to flander this interview if she ever does it. And they can't have her be in Austin, right? They can't have her be away from the campaign. They can't have her be in a room with just her and Joe and young Jamie. They need to control the situation, and they probably want to edit before it goes out because they know just how much of a train wreck it's going to be. What is he afraid of? I don't know if he's afraid, but I get his point, right? If you and I are having a conversation, Mahesh, I just saw that. The charge time for the earpiece is around 1 hour. Okay, that was really good, Mahesh. But to Joe Rogan's point, it's like if you and I are sitting in the same room, right, in the studio, right, we're gonna have a different conversation than if I have to travel to DC and you put me up in a hotel, fly me first class, private jet, probably even for Joe Rogan, and you know, we sit down. It's a very different, like, postured, stately, forced conversation versus off the cuff, right? And that's how Joe Rogan wants it to be. But I think Mahesh nailed it on the head. The charge time for the earpiece is only an hour.
Very professional here. He's not trying to pick a side when it comes to this, and that's why he continues to say what he's saying. However, that was yesterday, and today it was announced that JD Vance will be doing the podcast instead. Here's what others had to say, like Charlie.
By the way, I didn't know JD Vance before this. I like the guy. Have you watched any of his interviews that he's done? I watched one with him and Tim Dillon over the weekend. That was a great hang. I enjoyed that. And that's what Joe Rogan's going for, is he just wants the hang, right? The hang, the conversation is what we're going for here. This is not like a structured CNN interview.
Charlie Kirk, America deserves 3 hours with Kamala and Joe Rogan, unscripted. Hope it happens. And she stops trying to dictate the terms. Elon Musk put good clarification. I would definitely watch the podcast. Hour 2 would be a meltdown, clearly. So multiple outlets are reporting that JD Vance will be on this interview, as I stated. But here are a couple of numbers that really stands out to me and why this is a big mistake from the Harris campaign. Check this out. Trump appeared on Rogan's show in a 3-hour episode that was posted Friday, and the episode had more than 37.6 million views as of Tuesday morning. And Rogan,
I'm actually curious what it is right now. Let's go Google it up. 38 million right now.
definitely is the #1 podcast on Spotify, and he has 18 million subscribers. So
That's a good point. That's just on YouTube, right? And all the other channels, it could be way higher. Brian says Megyn Kelly would have traveled. I don't know. I'm a tertiary Megyn Kelly fan. You know more than I do, it sounds like.
you know, it's a big deal that she's not doing this, especially if she knows she's hemorrhaging when it comes to the men vote. Younger people, she's doing terrible on as well. And the whole excuse that she's too busy to do it is just bull. Okay. They just don't see her doing it if it's not going to be to her parameters, right? Now, what's interesting on CNN today, there was a political commentator that pretty much admitted out loud why Kamala Harris not doing this Joe Rogan podcast is really a bad idea, but also makes an excuse on why she shouldn't. Watch this.
Errol, little curveball here. Just before we walked out here, Joe Rogan posted on X that
Is this peak COVID right now? Why are they all 6 feet apart? What is going on here?
the Harris campaign has not passed on having the vice president sit down with Joe Rogan. What he says is right now the issue is he wants it to be in Austin where his studios are. He wants it to be 3 hours. The Harris campaign wanted it to be somewhere else, maybe a little shorter. How much of a risk would it be for her to do that podcast in the waiting days of the campaign?
I don't think it's a risk at all. I mean, it might be a waste of time, but I don't think it's a risk. I mean, look, she needs to talk to, and she's been.
It would be a waste of time because she's not going to get the male vote. The reason being she's not going to get the male vote, as I mentioned yesterday, is they spent the last 4 years demonizing people who look like me, right? People who look like me are the problem. So why would I go vote for you? Why would anyone in my cohort go vote for you when you just spent 4 years of nastiness, of honestly, like doing everything you can to make me the problem, and now you want my vote? No, it's never going to happen. That's why it's a waste of time. Brian says, are there any listeners of Joe Rogan podcast undecided at this point? Probably not. Yeah, you just answered my own question. Yeah.
Specifically trying to talk to younger men of lesser education, not college educated. She doesn't connect with them naturally. She hasn't had a pitch that has really hit home with them so far. She's issued some policy statements, but they're not really well thought out in a lot of ways. And so she needs some authenticity. And if she thinks it will help her in, Detroit, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, or Milwaukee, then it's worth her time. If she's not sure that that's going to happen, then it's a complete waste of time. She doesn't need young male voters out of Texas. That's not a state that she's going after.
Yeah, but she was just in Texas with Beyonce. So how do you square that? And what's interesting, when she sat down for that CBS interview, they asked her the same question. They know the momentum is gone and the men vote is not good for her. And here's what she had to say.
It does suggest that your momentum has slowed. Do you feel like the race is slipping away?
See, this is what they want with the Joe Rogan interview. They want it to be ultra processed, ultra scripted. And why would she do that? Right? Why would she go into his lion's den, right? When they can just set it up this way and he can only ask approved questions.
I do not. And actually, and I agree with you. I think certainly polling is a measure, but to be frank, if I'd listened to polls, I would have never run for my first or second office. I wouldn't be here talking with you.
And the funny thing is not a damn person voted for you either time. So I'm done with her. I can't wait to be done with her forever after next week. And I hope you feel the same way. Let's jump right into our market analysis. Welcome to the OVTLYR Trading Room. This is smart trading made simple. This is where we save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm your rich Uncle Chris. I've twice been awarded top 100 people in finance. I've been successfully trading since 2009. I'm a partner with OVTLYR, and this is my style of trading using the OVTLYR data. I call it the golden ticket trading strategy. Real quick, how does OVTLYR work? It's a 4-step process. Number 1, OVTLYR monitors how investors are reacting to changing market conditions, news, price movements, and the economy. Number 2, OVTLYR determines if investors are acting irrationally fearful or greedy, and by how much. Number 3, OVTLYR gives buy and sell signals when those irrational behaviors reach an extreme. And number 4, allowing you to get into the stock before the OVTLYR move happens. So let's jump into our member highlight today on the Discord. There's not much. Everybody took the day off. Mahesh did make a note this morning that there was a server issue. I didn't honestly even log into OVTLYR until about 10 minutes ago because I know what it's going to be for me today. But As you know, getting in touch with us on the Discord is by far the easiest, best way to keep track of what's going on at Outlier. And, you know, we are constantly evolving the platform. Mahesh, if you're still on, there was a question asked yesterday when the platform updates will be ready to roll. Curious to hear if you are still watching, what date that would be. So either way, Peter, good to see you. Make sure you guys are hanging out in the Discord. Share your stories if you can. And of course, the first rule of Outlier is to tell everyone about Outlier. Oh, November 11th. That's when the upgrades are coming, November 11th. Thank you, Mahesh. Thanks for listening in and replying. And I'm really stoked about these upgrades, right? We're doing our best every single day to make Outlier better for you. And that's what you got to tell everybody about it, right? And don't forget, I know you're already subscribed, but go ahead and hit the like button. In fact, I think that was Peter's question yesterday, which is what reminded me to ask Mahesh. So Peter, thanks for coming in. Be sure you hit the like button. That tells everybody else about Outlier too. Let's jump right into the market. Let's see where it's going. All right. Literally haven't looked today. So we have 10 over 20, price over 50, still bullish trend right now. We did get a sell signal on the SPY just yesterday. I do like to point out, like to point out that a sell signal inside of an uptrend is not a sell to go short. A sell signal inside of an uptrend is a sell to cash, a sell to close. And so that's why I'm not even considering adding shorts right now, right? We are just a few dollars away from new all-time highs, which is super bullish. But as of right now, we do have that sell signal on the SPY, sell signal on the Qs, and currently a buy signal on the Dow. But if we go over to market breadth, drop on the 10 EMA. By the way, I love that. I love how it falls off. That is still bearish, although it may have flattened out. Today we have 18 new on the bull list, 18 new buy signals, and 17 new sell signals. So we may have seen a flattening of the breadth temporarily. But for me, I want to see all of this lined up together, right? I want to see the SPY signal be bullish, the market trend be bullish, market breadth be bullish. And where we're at right now is this is bullish, this is bearish, this is bearish. So I wouldn't even look at any sectors at the moment. Brian's asking, is the market closed on Veterans Day? It's open. Let's double check real quick. Stock market holidays. I literally don't remember ever. I have to Google this every single time. 2024. I don't see a closure around here. So yeah. I believe it is, Brian. All right. So I won't be trading today. And that's very common, right? Especially when I want to see the master key set up before I take any trades. It's showing to give me over an 80+% win rate. I know Wes has mentioned he is working on some data together. Mahesh, do we have a date yet on Peter's question? Wes is working on some data points, and so I'm curious to see what Wes is going to come up with. Peter's question. Oh, same day, maybe? Same day, it looks like. Same day, maybe. A lot's going down on November 11th. A lot's going down. I can't give any specifics. I know what's going on in the background. Mahesh is working hard to make some really, really cool things happen. Looking for a new one since my Dutch broker is not offering VS options. Oh, Dutch broker. Give me a break. All right. Let's take a look at new trader, rich trader. So I wanted to take this time while I am not trading and to give you the best content possible out there. So one of the things that I'm going to be doing is going through several of my trading books, talking about some of the great lessons that I've learned from them. Right now, we're working on new trader, rich trader, and we're currently on chapter 4. Hey, Brian had a great idea. Free Teslas. Woo! That sounds almost as good and almost as feasible as giving every new home buyer $25,000 and you know, all the other stuff that Kamala promises. So yeah, great idea, Brian. Thanks for funding that. Okay, so chapter 4, new traders trade because they're influenced by their own greed and fear. Rich traders use a trading plan. Rich traders use a trading plan. Oh wait, there we go. Rich traders use a trading plan, right? I mean, it took me years to come up with this, and it does evolve. It absolutely does evolve, because when you are a trader, something's going to come up and you're going to be like, oh, hadn't seen that before. And so you need to make some rules. Like, for example, trading into earnings, right? At one point in time, I wouldn't care about trading in earnings. I'd be like, yeah, of course I'm going to trade into earnings. But now it's like, well, do I have reasons to hold it into earnings, right? Is it already profitable? Does it break my expected trend line? If it's not going to have any of those issues there, if it's already profitable and not going to break my trend line, then yeah, let's hold through earnings. So there's always a malleable aspect to a trading plan, but only not in a way it's like I'm going to break my rules, but in a way of like, oh, I need to make sure that when this happens again, I have a rule in case. Wes, trying to squeeze it in between my 9-to-5 soccer practices and more. Sounds like excuses, Wes. Give me a break. I'm just giving you a hard time. So it's kind of a weekend project, but hopefully I'll get some stuff posted as I go, and I'm finding it interesting. Wes, I think you and I are very kindred spirits too, because I can look at data like this all day, every day, and I just enjoy data diving like that. Brian, you don't have the power of taxation. Well, hopefully Kamala won't either. All right, so let's go to the next step here. He decided to risk only 2% of his account per trade. This would significantly reduce the risk of ruin he had read about so often. If he traded a $5,000 position, he'd only be risking $200 of his trading capital. With a 500 share position, that'd be 40 cents a share. His stop on his trade would be about $8.95 since he bought at $9.35 and still had 500 shares. So, different, more leveraged way to promote position size is actually a note that I had written down. This is one thing that I learned directly from Steve, the author of New Trader, Rich Traders. He's like, listen, when you put on a 10% position in your account, right? It's not 10% of your account. If you had $100,000, you're not taking 10,000 and putting it into one trade, right? That's not 10%. In fact, it's way less because you don't intend to hold that to zero, do you? Or do you? If you're trading to zero, I can't help you there. But if you're only going to trade with like 1% of that coming down, or 1% working against you, right? That 10% of your account and only a 1% stop loss in this case, you can trade significantly larger than 10% of your account. I mean, you may even be able to trade 30, 40%. If you're only giving it a 1% stop loss, but you're saying, I want to put on risk on 10% of my account, you can do a really big position. In fact, let me run my data real quick. So right now I'm at a 7% position. Where that came from is honestly because like this is killing it. And I feel very comfortable with the 7% position. But most of my trades fall, and you can go through the Discord and find this too. But most of my trades are falling in the 2-ish%, 2 to 4, 5%, really 2 to 4.5, almost 5. We'll call it. In fact, why don't I just do the average here real quick? Hang on. Average account impact is 2.05%. So I'm trading with a 7% position size and risk, but at the end of the day, my average risks to the trade, gain or loss, is only 2%, right? Kind of what he's talking about there. But my actual position size is way bigger, right? Some of these I'm putting on between 10%, 15%, 20% of my account, right? So I can't put on a whole bunch of trades, but I'm also keeping my risk in check on these, right? So my actual trading dollars, I'm talking between 10 and 20%. Risk to the account on average, positive or negative, is around 2%, right? So I'm taking, let's use round numbers, 20%, putting it in, winning or losing about 2% of the account means, it's 10% of the actual risk that I'm putting on. Michael had a question. I'm curious, where others are with position sizing, I won't risk more than 1% on a single trade. That's what I'm willing to lose. I like to be no more than 5% of my account into a single trade. You know what? That's a great question. All right, let's continue on here. Would he give up and go back to working the job for the rest of his life? Or would he follow the path to wealth as a trader? In fact, Michael, just thinking about that, I think the more confident you get with this, in fact, Randy was talking about this not that long ago, because he was going from 1%, I believe, up to 5%. The more confident you get with trading, the bigger you can trade because you understand what you're going to do no matter what, right? Would he give up and go back to working at a job for the rest of his life, or would he follow the path to wealth as a trader. When he put it like that, the choice seemed simple. He would be a trader. What other job offered this kind of opportunity, freedom, and these odds of success? It's like a lottery he could win based on his hard work and discipline. I feel like that could have struck out of the book here. Reason being is that so many people come into trading thinking it is a lottery, right? So many people come into trading, especially around the meme stocks and how those exploded, right? They come into trading and they're like, I saw this not long ago. Lambos or food stamps. Really? That's how we trade? Lambos or food stamps? No. We're not going to have like 2% moves in the account. No. That's stupid. Lambos, food stamps, nothing in between. Okay. Hope it works out. Probably going to be several Lambos, food stamps, or just food stamps forever, and you never actually achieve the Lambo. But yeah, no thanks. Pride is a great banana peel, as are hope, fear, and greed. The biggest slip-ups occurred shortly after I got emotionally involved with positions. That comes from Ed Sakota. Ed Sakota is one of my, unfortunately, I have not had the opportunity to be mentored by him. I don't even know if he's still alive, but Ed Sakota is one of the original market wizards and one of my trading heroes as well. I learned of Ed Sakota from Steve, and he's kind of my role model with trading, because he comes in and now this is ages ago. I'm sure it's changed, but he comes in, he runs his programs, and then he's done trading in about 10 minutes because he knows what he's going to do. Right. I mean, if he has a signal, he's going to execute. If he doesn't have a signal, he has everything else in the world to do instead. That's the way trading should be, right? Come in, check your signals. If you don't have anything, move up. And that's what Ed Sakota is known for. Successful traders have a plan for success. By carefully putting the odds in their favor, successful traders will overtake gamblers who rely on random trades and prayers. How many times have you relied on that, right? Oh man, I mentioned this story the other day when I was in church, saying, please, Lord Jesus, don't let me lose this trade, which of course I can, ended up losing like the entire trade, Lambos or food stamps at that point. If you want to win in life, you must study, work hard, and be disciplined. That's what we do every day, right? There are no shortcuts, especially not in trading. You need to enter the markets well prepared with a detailed trading plan and weather the storm. Let's see if there's anything else on the next page. No. So at the end of the day, many like food stamps. Not me. At the end of the day, the point of this chapter here is, do you have a trading plan? I have a trading plan, and that's what I show every single day. But do you, right? Is your trading plan the same as mine? If it is, what happens if I'm not around, right? What happens if you take a trade, if it your trading plan? What happens if you take a trade and maybe I'm on vacation? Are you going to know what to do, right? It's great to be able to do this one-to-many coaching like we do every single day. It honestly is great. And I know that this makes a huge impact. But are you ready to take this on your own? I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying, the time is now. You need to go off on your own, right? I plan to do this as long as I physically can. In fact, my son asked me one day, he said, Dad, how long do you plan on trading? And I was like, as long as I'm still breathing. Like, I don't ever plan to stop, ever. This is my favorite game in the world. And unlike the NFL, right? I'm not going to age out at 24. I'm not going to, hit the wall at 32, right? I can continue to do this literally as long as the computer's plugged into the internet. I can continue to do this. Because we are going to be taking over the world as outliers. So that's going to wrap it for today. The real question I have to ask you is, do you have a trading plan? Here's mine, right? Here's mine. Do you have a trading plan? I hope you do. And I want to thank you so much for being an outlier. Brian says, amen to that. We couldn't do this without you. We want to pay you back every single day by helping you save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. Hey, don't forget, our special is going to be ending at the end of the month. You can still get Outliers Annual Pass right now for just 90 cents a day. You don't want to miss out. Go ahead and grab that. Like I say, it will be ending at the end of the month. Let us know if you need anything over in the Discord, and tell everybody about Outlier, right? That's how we all are going to do better, is by letting everybody know just how well Outlier is working for you. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. I know you have already subscribed, so I don't have to worry about that. and have a fantastic afternoon. If you haven't voted yet, daggum, go on out there, get that vote in. It really matters. Thank you so much for coming, and I'll see you tomorrow. Talk soon.